No, that is not how we're going to be introducing things. We really are not going to be. Hello, I'm Charmaine Waters. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let me get started with the content. I made notes because I have a brain like a sieve. Hi, my name is Charmaine. I'm an early years practitioner. I am an infant sleep educator, and I'm a former night nanny. The pandemic ended my career, but that's a video for another day. So today I wanted to share some tips with you to help you and support you if you have a toddler who is not a fan of naps. Most toddlers aren't, but I'm going to share with you today 5 ways that if you can do them repetitively and consistently, you will find that you'll have a toddler who takes their naps happily. You can secure the daytime nap. Now, these tips are great if you are the parent of a... Well, these tips would work for any age really, babies, toddlers and preschoolers, but these tips are tips that I specifically use with the age group of 18 months to 3 years. But as I said, these tips are interchangeable. You can use them with babies, you can use them with toddlers. Have a predictable sequence of events throughout the day, i.e. have a routine. Now, the reason for this is because 1, our toddlers do not understand the concept of time. They don't understand what 1 o'clock means, 2 o'clock means, 3 o'clock means. Even if they do know it's 1 o'clock, they don't necessarily mean that 1 o'clock is usually the time when we have lunch or the time that we're actually wanting them to take a nap. So the only way you can help your toddler to recognize what time of the day it is and what you expect them to do is to have a regular and predictable sequence of events that happens in roughly the same order every single day, so that your toddler can predict, okay, well, we're going to have lunch now, and usually after lunch we have sleep. Can you see? So think routine, not schedule. It's not so much about the timing, although the timing will help, but what I find with my toddlers, and this is what I do with our daily routine at nursery, is that even though some of the things that we do throughout the day, every week, every day of the week may be different, we're tending to do them in the same order. So here's how I mean. So the kids will come in every day, round about 8, round about 9. Sometimes they come in at 8, sometimes they come in at 9, sometimes they come in at 8:30. But when they come in, they usually have breakfast. After breakfast, we tidy the toys away. After we tidy the toys away, we usually go out in the garden for them to run around and jump up and down or whatever. If we can't go in the garden because of the weather, we usually get them active and busy by doing dancing in the classroom. After we've done the dancing, we'll usually come inside, have snack, then we'll start our focus activity for the day. Then we'll prepare for lunch, and then we'll get them down for sleep. It's pretty much the same order every day. So as I said, the things that we'll do day to day might change, but the order in which that we do them stays the same. Tip number two, expose them to broad spectrum daylight. The reason why we expose our toddlers to broad spectrum daylight is because by doing this, you're letting their brain and their body clock know it's daytime, it's time to be awake. When your little one is exposed and taken outside and exposed to natural daylight, it sends a message to the brain that signals them and says, okay, make cortisol so that they can be awake and they can be alert and they can be active and they can do their thing. Getting them outside and exposing them to broad spectrum daylight is a really great way of letting the clock know it's daytime, it's time to be awake. And if you're taking them outside, you're getting them in that natural daylight. Natural daylight is better than artificial light. If you have to use artificial light to expose them to daylight, then by all means do that. But get them outside using into that broad spectrum daylight. Three, I wear my kids out, I wear my toddlers out, both physically and intellectually. And here's what I mean by that. When I'm taking them outside to play, that's usually the opportunity when they can go outside, they can run riot, they can run, they can jump, they can climb. It's all about those big bodily movements where kids can expend their energy. We as a nation, we as a planet, we are just not active enough. We have become lazy. We're not exercising enough. We're not expending that energy that our body needs to help us to sleep. So the great way to help your kid to want to sleep is to wear them the hell out. Wear them out. Get those big body movements going. If you can do this while taking them outside, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're exposing them to broad spectrum daylight and you're wearing them out physically. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Then you also need to be wearing them out intellectually. You need to get their brain working. You need to be challenging them. So while you're outside in the garden or throughout the day, whatever you're doing, get the brain working. Ask them questions. What's happening? Just because your toddler is not able to verbally articulate themselves as well as we can, that doesn't mean that you can't help them to develop their language skills by having conversations with them. Point things out. Oh, look, there's an airplane. Look, there's a tree. What color's the tree? The tree is green. What happens when we throw the ball? The ball bounces. What happens if we take a step up? We go higher and higher and higher. What happens if we sit on the slide? We slide down. These conversations is encouraging verbal skills, it's encouraging listening skills, it's encouraging the art of conversation, and it's encouraging and getting their brain to work to think about the things that they're experiencing every day. So you want to wear them out physically, and you want to wear them out intellectually. Tip number 4 is you need to manage their energy. You need to manage their energy. Now, the thing is with toddlers is they're immature, they don't understand how their body works, so we have to manage their energy for them. So when you want them to be running around outside and jumping and, have these big body movements and expending energy, you might have to join in with them. But when I take my kids outside to play, when I take the toddlers outside to play, I'm encouraging them to do these big body movements. So I'll say, let's race, and I'll line them up and I'll be like, ready, steady, go. And I will run and I'll demonstrate to them what I want them to do. So I'll show them that I want them to run. I'll show them that I want to jump and to skip and to rough play. Like, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of rough play as long as they're not hurting each other. We want to expend that energy, and we want our toddlers to get used to movement and to understand what's expected of them. And sometimes if they don't know what's expected of them, we literally physically have to show them. So I will get them running, I will get them jumping, I will get them climbing. If you've got a climbing frame, get them to do that. If you don't have access to a playground, say you're running errands, instead of putting your toddler in the buggy, get them to walk, get them to carry like one item of shopping. Not only will they love it because they'll feel really grown up and they'll feel like they're helping, but they'll be using their large motor skills. They'll be walking, they'll be carrying, they'll be lifting. So it doesn't necessarily, like, a lot of parents think, oh, we need all this equipment and all this great stuff to get our kids doing stuff. If you could just incorporate them into your everyday lives, it becomes things that they do without thinking. So yeah, your daily errands might take a little bit longer if you are preferring to strap them in the buggy, usually when you're going about your daily business. But if you get them to push their own buggy, a lot of toddlers love to do that. That's a lot of physical exertion. That's walking. Even just 10-15 minutes of that is enough to wear them out. On top of that as well, with my toddlers, something that I do is when we've been outside in the garden and they've been doing their running and their jumping and they've gotten all excited and they've had the opportunity to get all of this energy out, you then need to kind of show them that it's time to calm down. Again, they're toddlers. It's something that you're going to have to repeat to them regularly, and they're not going to necessarily know that you want them to calm down unless you're doing that too. So when we're taking them out in the garden, when I bring them inside, that's usually when I'm doing an activity with them where I'm sitting down with them and I'm kind of not directing the play, but modeling the mode of energy that I want. So like I said, when I'm in the garden with them and they're outside and they're running up and down, I'm doing it with them. I'm encouraging them to run and to jump and to climb and to throw it and to skip and to do all of those things. When we come inside, when we're doing activities where I want them to use their brain, where I'm managing their energy and I want to intellectually wear them out, I will sit down with them. I will do an inset puzzle with them. I'll encourage them to kind of look and observe, what shape goes into that hole? What color is this? Where should I put that? If you're asking them questions and you're engaging them and you're modeling the mode of behavior and the energy that you want them to have, kids will copy you. Trust me, they do. So when I'm out in the garden, I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm doing all of that stuff. When I come inside and I want them to sit down and calm down, I sit down and calm down too with them. And it's really important to get down to their level. We're always kind of up and towering above them. So getting down to their level, making that eye contact and, saying, what should we do? Let's do a puzzle. Let's do this together. There is no harm in giving your toddlers a running commentary. They may not be as verbally articulate as you, but their comprehension is great. So talking to them is going to help them with that language acquisition as well. I prep them for sleep And then I stay with them when I want them to sleep until they're asleep. So here's what I mean by prep them for sleep. So remember, the first tip was having a regular and predictable sequence of events, right? So while I have my daily routine and I'm doing things in the same order, I'm kind of giving my kids a running commentary of what we're doing. So I'll say to them, okay, we're going to have breakfast now. And then when breakfast is over, we're going to go into the bathroom and wash our hands and our faces. And then we're going to put our shoes and our socks on and get ready to go in the garden. And then we do it. So again, remember what I said about children's verbal skills? They might not be able to verbally articulate, but their comprehension and their level of understanding is really good. So if you're constantly giving them a running commentary of what's happening now and what we're going to do next, they can predict what's going to happen next. That builds feelings of security, and that helps them to be compliant as well. So being predictable, so giving them a running commentary and preparing them for what's going to happen now and what's going to happen next is a great way to prepare your toddler for sleep success. Now, bear in mind, you might say to your toddler, okay, we're having lunch now, and then we're going to clean our hands, we're going to clean our faces, we're going to change nappies, and we're going to go to sleep. And most toddlers are going to be like, oh, I don't want it. Or they'll do the verb, the non-verbal equivalent. They'll cry, they'll shake their heads, they go, no. They'll give you whatever reason why they don't want to do it. And you know what? That's okay. They can protest. They can say they don't want to do it. But if you're in the habit of doing the same things every day in the same order with a predictable sequence of events, they might resist it. But because they know it's something that happens every day, they're more than likely going to go along with it. Bearing in mind, these 5 tips are dose dependent. So the more you do them, the more effective they are. You can't just do these tips one day and expect your toddler to be compliant. Toddlers don't work like that. Now, having a pre-nap ritual, which is like a mini version of a bedtime routine, is a great way of preparing your toddlers for naps. And again, if you're verbally telling your kids what you're going to do, and then what you're doing now and what you're doing next, and then you're doing it, it's reinforcing in their little one's brain what's going to happen. It's very predictable for them. They know what's going to come. They know what's happening now. They know what's happening next. This builds feelings of security, and it lets them know on an intellectual level what's expected of them. And physically, their body's going to start to wind down because they're like, okay, well, I know that I'm going to be having a rest soon. So again, it's all about being repetitive and consistent, being predictable, and prepping them. So I'll give you an example. I have this one little boy in my toddler class who is not fond of naps at all. We've just thought, you know what, let's be intentional, and we're gonna be really, really consistent and let them know you're gonna have a sleep today. Now, this little boy screams his head off. He doesn't like to sleep. However, even though he screams, I find that if I let him know from early on and I prepare him throughout the day, and I'll be like, you know what, let's just say his name's Nicholas. You know what, Nicholas? We're going to go in the garden, we're going to play, we're going to do activities, we're going to have lunch, and then we're going to sleep. Don't worry, I'll help you sleep, but that's what's happening. He, most of the time, will be like, no, don't want to sleep, no, don't want to do it. That's okay, you don't have to want to sleep, but it's going to happen. And because I've prepared him for it, there's a regular and predictable sequence of events. I've prepped his body by exposing him to broad spectrum daylight. So his body on a physical level knows, okay, I'm going to expend this energy and then I'm going to get an opportunity to rest later. I'm kind of wearing him out intellectually as well. So his brain is being used and he's expending that brain energy as well. Because I've prepared him and I've told him throughout the day, okay, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're going to do next. He knows it's coming. It's not like it's unexpected and he's like, oh my God, they're going to make me do something I don't want to do. And because I've said to them, okay, you might not want to, but I'm going to help you with it, they know what to expect. So they might protest, but they know what to expect. And what I found with him is that the more I do what I'm doing with him every day, and the more I include him in the daily routines, and the more I support him through it, he still screams a little bit, but every day, the amount of time that he spends screaming gets shorter and shorter. The amount of time he spends sleeping gets longer and longer. And he's just generally able to function and get through the day better. And he's actually a really, really bright kid. So yeah, those are my 5 top tips to guarantee that your toddler naps every day. Bonus tip number 6 is for us as their toddler's carer, parent, whoever you are dealing with your little one when it comes to nap. Know that on a daily, nap needs are going to change. So for example, there might be a day when your toddler has had a really rough night of sleep and they're going to be more tired, and so they're going to probably want to fall asleep earlier, or they're probably going to get tired more quickly. They're going to want to nap on that day. So getting them to nap is probably going to be a lot easier than it perhaps would be on a day when they've slept really, really well. There might be a day when your little one has actually slept really, really well through that night and they've actually had a little bit of a lie-in. So on that particular day, it's quite likely that your toddler's not going to want a nap because they're very, very, very well rested. And so it's important that as a parent, as a carer, or whoever you are taking care of your toddlers, that you're mindful of the experiences and what's kind of gone on with them throughout the night and running up to the moment when you want them to nap. Did they sleep well last night? Did they sleep badly last night? Have they had a particularly stressful day? Is there something going on in their environment that would perhaps cause them to be a little bit more anxious? So they might need a little bit more help and support in getting to sleep. Bear in mind that every day with your toddlers is going to be a little bit different. So it's okay to be flexible. There are going to be times when you do all of those things and your toddler's just not tired, but they will lie down and they will rest. They might only nap for half an hour, whereas the next day they'll only get a nap for 45 minutes. So be flexible and be mindful of what's going on in the moment in terms of how you want to help your little one nap. If you want more nap tips, more sleep tips, more toddler sleep advice, be sure to follow me on Instagram at charmaine.waters. And if you want even more nuggets, if you're the kind of parent who's like, you know what, how my toddler sleeps is driving me insane, I want more information so that I can create a plan and so that I can consistently get my toddler not only napping really well, but sleeping well at night too, you're in for a treat, because I teach a 4-weekly workshop series where I share with you information like I shared just now in this video on how you can help your toddler sleep. In this workshop series, I share with you what makes sleep difficult for toddlers, what normal sleep looks like for toddlers, why they might resist sleep and how you can combat it, how you can help them cope with their mood, their behavior. All of the things that can have an impact on how your toddler sleeps is involved and included, and the content is available within this 4-weekly workshop series. And the beautiful thing about it is that the next round of workshops that I teach will be July the 7th, or is it July the 14th? I have to get back to you on that. I can't remember what I wrote in my diary. It's coming up very, very soon. So if you want to join in with those series, that workshop series, if you want to sign up, it would be great if you sign up today, because you can sign up for the early bird price. Usually joining all 4 of my workshops costs £150, but if you sign up today, you can sign up for the early bird price, which is a very, very big discount. A very big discount. You will also get pre-work and access to a replay from week 1 from the last workshop series. So every time I teach this workshop series, I update the information. There's always new pearls and gems and sleep nuggets that I share with parents that can help you get your toddler sleeping, because everybody thinks toddlers should have this sleep thing down, and physically, they are physically capable of sleeping through the night, but there are so many other things that go on in a toddler's world that can impact how they sleep. So when you know what those things are that can impact the way that your toddler sleeps, it is much easier to curtail them before they become major issues. And if they do become an issue, it becomes a much easier problem to solve, because you know what it is that's making sleep difficult for them. You know how to help them to feel secure so that sleep happens with ease, and you know how to manage their behavior. You have regular and predictable sequences of events. You have regular and predictable sequences of events that help your toddler to know what's happening now and what's happening next. Know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. If you are wanting to join in that toddler sleep workshop series, more information can be found by following the link below. If you sign up today, you can get a really, really, really good discount for being an early bird and taking action quickly. And if you get started now, by the time we get round to teaching the live workshops, you're going to have a lot of information. You're going to already know some of the things that trigger your little one to struggle with sleep. You're going to just be basically hitting the ground running. You will be a toddler sleep expert yourself. Trust me. Anyway, I gone. Take care. Peace out.